In today's episode, we're wrapping up our series on navigating chaos and uncertainty by discussing an essential part of financial security, one that sometimes we don't think about, and that is insurance. If the ideal of insurance feels overwhelming or like just another expense to cut when money gets tight, this episode is for you. We'll show you how insurance can be a proactive step in safeguarding your future so you can live boldly without fear of the unknown. And did you know that more than 1 in 4 of today's 20-year-olds can expect to be out of work for at least a year because of a disabling condition? We'll dive into why disability insurance, among other coverages, is one of the most important protections you need to consider. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why cutting insurance is often a mistake and how the right coverages gives you peace of mind even when life gets unpredictable. So, don't miss it.
Welcome to Wealth and Wisdom Together, the podcast that guides Christian women to financial fulfillment by walking boldly in your steward identity.
We're your hosts, Willa Williams and Wesley Eccles, founders of Trinity Financial Coaching and Sisters in Faith, here to help you align your money with your vision.
If you're a high achieving woman earning well but still wondering, why don't I feel further along? You aren't the only one who feels that way. And we're here to remind you that your path to wealth is unique and spirit-led.
That's why each episode equips you to manage money confidently, live life purposefully, and build wealth intentionally without compromising what matters most.
Because you're listening or watching, you're already on the path. This podcast is here to help you keep going with faith, clarity, and real-life strategy.
So like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss another episode, any episode at all. We're on this journey together. Welcome back to another episode of Wealth and Wisdom Together. We're your hosts, Wesley Eccles and Willa Williams, faith-filled financial coaches guiding you to walk boldly in your steward identity. Because making good money, it really doesn't always mean you feel financially confident. And if you've been trying to figure it out alone, you don't have to anymore.
We're so excited to wrap up our Navigating Chaos and Uncertainty series with a conversation that is absolutely essential: insurance. Now, I know what you might be thinking: insurance. That's not the most exciting topic. You're right. But let me tell you, risk management is one of the most important elements of good financial stewardship.
That's right. We're going to dive into why insurance isn't just a financial product, but a powerful tool for faithful stewardship. And we're going to address some common myths so you can see how protecting what God has entrusted to you is not only wise, but also empowering.
Exactly. If you've been thinking, I'm healthy, I don't need insurance, or it's just another expense I don't want to deal with. And many of you aren't thinking that you can walk around without any insurance. I know that. But there's these thoughts that come in our mind, especially if we're looking at, what to squeeze, what expense we can lower or squeeze out of our budget. We're here to change that mindset and give you a new perspective on how insurance can be a divine safety net.
So let's start. We're going to reframe how we think about insurance. For many of us, insurance feels like just another bill we have to pay. But what if we saw it as a tool that protects the blessing we work so hard for, the blessings God has provided for us?
Oh, absolutely. And 100%. Insurance isn't just an expense. It is a safety net. It's a wise decision to protect the things that God has entrusted to us, from our health, our homes, our careers. And it's a reflection of the wisdom that we've gained in managing what's been given to us.
Think of it this way. Insurance is about preparing for the unexpected, just like the Proverbs 31 woman who laughs without fear of the future. You can have confidence today knowing that you've taken steps to ensure your future is secure, no matter what happens.
That's a great point, Willa. And I know You might also be thinking, I have homeowners and auto insurance. What else do I need? But the truth is, your liability coverage should reflect your net worth. And if you've worked hard to build up assets, but your liability coverage hasn't kept up, you're leaving your blessings exposed.
Yeah, that's true. So, for example, if you have $1 million in assets but only $300,000 in liability coverage, you're at risk of losing much of your hard earned wealth. But here's the good news: upping your coverage is often surprisingly affordable. Adding an umbrella policy can provide extra protection for just a small additional cost. Something to consider.
And you're going to hear us say this over and over again. This isn't about fear, it is really about faithful stewardship. By ensuring your liability coverage aligns with your net worth, you're taking the proactive steps to protect what God has given you. Now,
Yeah.
I forgot to mention at the top of the episode, I just want to be clear. Willa and I, as accredited financial counselors and financial coaches, we are not licensed to sell insurance. We are not insurance agents. And so, what we're providing for you today in this episode are things for you to think about to make sure that you are not underinsured. At the end of the day, at the end of this episode, if after listening to what we are sharing with you, your
Hmm.
next step as it relates to your insurance is to then talk to an insurance agent or any a financial planner who might also offer insurance tools. So again, we are not selling, we are not attempting to sell. That's why we're not going to get into a lot of the nitty gritty details, but that is a good thing because you should be doing that with your agent because they know your particular situation and the type
That's
of
right.
insurance that you carry. Okay.
That's right. And everything is personal with insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's situation is different. So,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what type it is, you and your agent will be the best one to do that. So, let's talk a little bit about health insurance. We
Mm-hmm.
all need to have that. We all know that our bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit. That now we get that from First Corinthians 6 and 19. Health insurance is one way to honor our health, making sure that we're prepared in case an unexpected medical situation rises.
Right. Now, I know the majority of you are employed. So you're probably getting health insurance through your employer. And the way the laws are set up now, there's really no way around not having insurance through your employer unless you're married. So the thought process of I'm young and healthy, I don't need health insurance, that really only comes up if you are in between jobs. And if you're in
Mhm.
between jobs and your insurance has run out and you didn't do the Cobra, which is the extension of the health insurance that you had while you was with your employer, that's when that thought might come up.
Mhm.
And you cannot be without insurance. And I know it's expensive when you try to do it through the Affordable Care Act, but while you're in transition, that's just something you got to keep top of mind because you can't predict when you're going to need medical care. And without insurance, the cost can quickly spiral out of control. As swiftly as you can find more new employment or get the funds to enroll in the Affordable Care Act or extend your COBRA, you want to make sure that you are doing that.
And even if you're healthy, remember unexpected things do happen. Health insurance is a way to safeguard yourself from financial strain when life takes that unexpected turn. If you use healthcare services regularly, consider plans with a lower deductible and copay. If you're typically healthy, a high deductible plan with an HSA, a health savings account, may be a little more cost effective solution for you. I've learned over the past few years that the HSA, it's a positive tool for my situation in my household. When we first got it, it did not work out. We really had to learn how it worked. It didn't work
Yeah.
with our dentist, it didn't work with our medical services. It was too many people going too many places. But once I began to really read and get on the portals and understand how the billing worked, it's a positive. So I would recommend that as really a more cost effective solution.
And it's also it helps to reduce your tax liability because that money grows sits there is deducted from what you have to pay in taxes, and it might help from that standpoint as well. So let's talk about disability insurance because your most valuable asset is not your house, it's not your car, it's not even your retirement account. It is your ability to make a living.
Yeah, that's right. Deuteronomy 8 and 18 reminds us that God gives us the ability to create wealth. So protecting that ability with disability insurance is crucial. If you're unable to work due to illness or injury, disability insurance will replace a portion of your income. Without it, too many people are facing financial ruin and even bankruptcy after an unexpected illness or accident. Disability insurance can be very helpful in those situations.
Willa mentioned in the preview a statistic that came from the Social Security Administration. 1 in 4 20-year-olds will experience a disabling condition before they reach retirement. So at the end of the day, the likelihood of someone becoming disabled is greater than death. So it bears true that having disability insurance is very important.
Oh,
Nearly
wow.
and nearly 6% of workers experience a
Yeah.
short-term disability every single year.
Now that's eye opening.
It is. It really is.
The fact is, accidents and illnesses, they do happen,
Mhm.
usually when least expected.
Yes.
So if you don't have disability insurance yet, it's time to look into it. It could be the difference between weathering the storm or going under. So take a look, start with your employment benefits,
Mhm.
then check for private disability insurance. But if it's available through your employer, we want to start there first.
Absolutely. Now remember, there are two main types of disability insurance: short-term and long-term. And your short-term disability provides maybe 60 to 70% of your salary for a few months up to a year, while long-term disability covers a smaller portion of your salary but lasts until you're able to return to work or even until retirement age. And that's typically, sometimes you see that through the Social Security Administration offering disability.
Hmm.
But here's the thing: you remember in our episode when we talked about being prepared, when we were talking about the savings, this is a typical reason, and this is one of the ways that you calculate how much you need for your emergency savings in the event that you are unable to work. How long can you live with 60% to 70% of your salary, or
Yeah.
even 50% of your salary while you're on disability? Or how long can you pay your expenses until one of these insurances kick in?
The waiting period for these policies, they vary, but here's the key. If you don't have either of these in place, you're taking a huge risk with your financial security.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about homeowners insurance. We all love that. Your home is likely not just a financial asset, it's your
Well, it's
sanctuary.
your
Yes,
sanctuary.
yes,
At least I
yes,
work very hard to make
yes.
our home feel like that. Like
Yes.
our
It's where
family
you
comes, they
live.
want to come home and rest and
Yes,
be restored. It's like a place of refuge.
yes.
Yes,
You
yes,
want to be
yes, yes,
comfortable. It's,
yes.
it's you know, it's where you live, where you serve, and sometimes minister to others.
Yes,
So protecting your home is about protecting everything that happens inside those walls of your home.
that's
Protect it.
right.
Yeah.
And many women don't realize that their standard homeowners insurance policy might not cover everything. If your home has appreciated in value or you have valuable items like jewelry or art, you might have to update your coverage. And the same
Mhm.
goes for renters. If you don't own a home, you need to have renter's insurance.
Yes. Highly recommended.
Yes.
Now, I also recommend that you take a look at your policy with some fresh eyes.
Mhm.
Make sure that it covers the full replacement cost of your home, full replacement cost. It covers temporary living expenses if your home becomes uninhabitable. For some reason you can't stay there.
Mhm.
It covers liability protection for anyone injured on your property.
Mhm.
That's important. And special coverage for valuable items that might not be fully covered by a standard policy, like Wes
Mhm.
just mentioned. Those things that you want, add up jewelry, paintings, fur, whatever.
Right.
Special coverage for those items.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But many people don't realize that the way their insurance policy values their property could differ from what they expect. And I'm so glad that you mentioned what you said, because when it comes to homeowners insurance, you need to understand the difference between actual cash value and replacement value.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's some of the things that I think was witnessed or is happening like because of the the fires in California,
Yeah.
and getting those homes replaced in Altadena and in Palisades, where the fires are.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. The actual cash value takes depreciation into account.
Hmm.
So if your house burns down, as with those fires, the insurer will pay out the current value, which might be much less than what it will cost to rebuild. On the other hand, replacement value means you'll get the full cost to replace or rebuild the home to its previous condition
Yes.
without factoring in depreciation. Big difference
Yes, it
there.
is. It's so important to know which type of policy you have. Replacement value is often a better option for those who want to ensure that they can fully recover in the event of a loss.
Like
If
if
they
your
just been
home,
built, whatever it costs to rebuild the house, that's what the
yeah,
insurance policy is going to pay. It is a little bit more expensive. However, you don't want to get caught with a gap. You
yeah,
don't want to get caught with the insurance only paying up to a certain amount, and now you got to take out a loan or figure out how you're going to finance or pay for the rest. So,
yeah,
if your home represents both your success and your values, make sure your coverage reflects that. And this is a proactive step to ensure your sanctuary remains protected, whether you own it or whether you are renting. At least if you're
mhm,
renting, your contents are protected because the
yes,
building and all of that falls on the landlord. But if something happens to your contents, or if a fire or a flood or whatever, something happens with inside in that building and it affects your contents, you are covered for renter's insurance.
yeah. Y-
Likewise, also with the homeowners.
Let's talk about one that a lot of people are very familiar with, and that's auto insurance. Now
That's
your
the one that
car,
everybody complains about.
yeah, yeah, they hit you all the time. Your car is essential, people, for getting from place to place.
100%, we know that.
Ah, it helps you live your life with purpose. It's how you get to work, how you get to church,
Yeah.
and how you serve your community and serve yourself. Get to the grocery. It's how you live. You need that to live.
Yes. And if you have a luxury or specialty vehicle, your standard coverage might not be enough. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Because I mean, many of you have, I don't know, you
Mm,
may be aware or not aware. I don't know how long you've been listening to us, but my
mm,
husband and I have a classic car collection. And so we can't, the standard coverage is not, we can't use that for those cars.
mhm.
So it's worth consulting your agent to ensure that your coverage matches the true value of your vehicle and that you're adequately protected in the case of an accident.
Now, there are
Now,
a lot of things on our policies for auto, but we'll break down a couple of those. Comprehension is one of the things that's out there. Comprehensive auto safeguards your protection against uninsured drivers. So we need comprehensive coverage to do those things. It's important.
auto insurance, make sure you are not underinsured.
Yes.
You use your vehicle regularly. You want to make sure, just like your home and your health, that you are protected. Make sure that you have adequate coverage. And then making sure that you have adequate coverage. Also make sure that you have adequate liability coverage. Look and make sure that, like Will had mentioned with the home, what can happen in the event that the car is, do you have renter's insurance? Like, can you get a
Yeah.
rental? And then make sure that you can afford the deductible. A lot of people will increase their deductible to $1,000 to get a lower premium. But if something happens, can you pay that deductible?
Yeah.
So at 250, if you can only afford to spend $250 in the event that something happens to your car, well, then that's your deductible and you'll have a higher premium. But you have to make sure that you are properly prepared to handle it. Again, talk with your insurance agent. They'll give you many different scenarios,
That's
but
right.
that scenario should also match with your cash reserves.
They're so personal. You got to talk to your agent.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about life insurance. For some, It's something they don't think they need, but life insurance is one of the most profound ways to show love and stewardship.
And for high achieving women, life insurance is essential. It
Yeah.
can replace income, eliminate debt, fund your children's education, and even leave a legacy for the causes and ministries that matter to you most.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've seen it too many times, again, in seasons of chaos and confusion, or when funds are tight. The life insurance is one of the first things that
Yeah.
people, an expense that people cut because they're
Yeah.
not anticipating death. No one is anticipating death to knock on our door anytime soon. But then when it does, and you're not covered, it's even more devastating for a family when you don't have those affairs in order.
Now, even if you're single, life insurance can still be a great tool. It can fund charitable gifts, cover funeral expenses, or even provide for aging parents or siblings who might need your support in the future. It covers so much.
So if you haven't already, it's time to think about the impact you want to leave. And life insurance can ensure that your legacy continues even after you're gone. Have the conversation. Don't be afraid to have the conversation with your family about not only your policy but their policy. Understand what type of policy they have. There are many types of life insurance policies, which is why we're not, again, I told you that we aren't licensed insurance agents, so I'm not going to go into all of the mechanics of how they work. I used to have my insurance license and I know it, so that's why I got to watch this gray area. But there's so many different mechanics. Yes, there are some that have savings vehicles and there's some that don't, but you can determine which one is best for you. Again, it is all personalized.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear people often talk about Obamacare or the insurance marketplace, but no matter what, it can be very overwhelming.
It can be, yeah.
But it's so important to approach it with wisdom and discernment.
Mhm. Mhm.
Don't be afraid to seek out the right advice. It's just like Wes has said, financial planners, insurance agents, those persons who are skilled in insurance and who can help guide you in making the best decisions. Hey, can we pause for a moment? If you've been listening and thinking, I want to be more intentional with my money, but I'm not sure what my next step should be, we've created something just for you.
It's called Your First Step to Financial Fulfillment. And it's a free guided audio experience to help you align your money and mindset with clarity and confidence before you ever book a coaching session.
Inside, we walk you through powerful shifts, faith-led reflections, and the exact steps we guide our clients through when they're just starting out.
You'll walk away with a clear picture of what's holding you back, where God may be leading you next, and how to finally take that next step without pressure, fear, or overwhelm.
This is the same clarity focused tool we use inside our coaching program, and now we're giving it to you for free.
Tap the link in the show notes or visit www.mytfcoach.com/fulfillment starts here to get instant access, or click the link in our show notes.
Your financial journey deserves clarity, not confusion. Now, we know that insurance policies are not exactly the most exciting things to read. Oh my God. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. And many people neglect to thoroughly examine them until a loss occurred.
Yes.
I must admit, it happened to me, but it only happened to me one time. And when that happens, it's often a wake up call, finding out that they misunderstood the terms of the agreement. Now, let me tell you exactly what happened. I was a renter. This was years ago. I was a renter. And I had a renter's policy. I had a friend's TV, couple things at my house.
Mm.
And so I had a break in, experienced a burglary, reported it. They came out, adjuster, da 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 da. The adjuster, was not going to cover those things that were not mine, quote unquote. But after reading the policy, which said that it covered everything in the house, even things that had been brought over to the house that did not belong to you, but were there under your care. That was the only way that I was able to get them to pay that out. And it was because I was able to go into that policy, quote the section, quote the title, quote, here, this is where it is right here, y'all. You gonna pay me my money, give me my money, replace my items. And they did it. But had I not read that policy, I would have been buying, replacing stuff for my friend, replacing stuff for myself. So it is very critical for you to really know and understand the terms of your insurance policy. Yes, they look like reading a dictionary or even worse. Uh, but
But it has
you
a
got to do
term.
it.
It has a terms list, a glossary terms list, so you know what you're reading.
Yeah. Some people they go to the declaration page, tell me how much it costs. That's
Yeah.
it. But no, go to those other 30 pages that's attached with that font size too.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. Because our basement flooded, but
Mm.
it flooded because of sewer backup,
Mhm.
sewer, and so to go through the policy, because now you're wondering like, okay, so what's covered, what's not covered, what do we, and so be able to go through the policy and see that that was definitely covered under our policy.
Mhm.
The removal of the water,
Yep.
replacing it, getting our basement redone. I mean, it was a load off to know that that was covered, but I mean, it's a scary thought when something like that happens to,
Yeah.
to your house, even a commercial property, at our church, a similar thing because the
Mhm.
basement kept flooding. It was the floods from a couple of summers ago, and we were in that area where all the basements on the east side of Detroit were getting flooded,
Yeah.
and our insurance covered it, and we were able to get that water out and get the basement fixed. So yes, it is true. That's why it's essential to focus on certain key aspects of your policy. And I'm just going to give you 8 points that you should review in detail so you know
Yes.
exactly what's covered. Like Willa said, it's thick, it's big, depending on the policy. It could be several pages.
Mhm.
But these are 8 things that I just want you to key in on. And I'm so glad you talked about the contents, and I'm going to get to that. But the first one is perils covered. Understand what type of events are covered by your policy based on the type of insurance. Does it cover fire, wind, theft, vehicle collisions, pre-existing illness or death? Again, you can tell that these are overlaps of the type of
Yeah.
insurances, but what do they cover? Some insurance, homeowners insurance don't have flood insurance, but you
That's
might
right.
live in a flood zone. So you know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you understand what the policy covers, the perils that are covered. Number two, what property is covered. Make sure that
Mm.
the property listed is up to date, especially as you acquire new assets. Willis said her friend's TV was was at her house. If
Mhm.
she had not read the policy to understand that that was covered, she gave the testimony. So make sure that the property listed is up to date, especially as you acquire new assets.
And you know what? Let me add something right there also.
Hmm.
And it's not just property, things like that. It's also structures.
Yeah,
You
structures
build
too. Yes, 100%.
build that garage and don't tell don't tell me you put that garage or that shed out there in the backyard.
Right.
You better
Yes.
say something. You better add
Yes.
that
Yes.
because it'll be gone and well, I'm sorry, that's not in the policy.
Right.
Well, you all you
Exactly.
know is that it's a structure and it's on your property and you think it's there.
Right. Types of losses covered. So does your policy cover the property itself? Does it cover extra expenses that arise if the property is rendered unusable? Like we used an example of living someplace else while your
Mhm.
house is getting fixed or renting a car while your car is getting fixed. Does it cover potential income loss if the property is used for work? So again, look at your policy under this section, types of losses covered, so you know what's covered.
Yeah.
People covered. Who else is covered under your policy?
Ah.
Like family members or even guests. Okay, if you are recently married and you didn't add the family coverage of your spouse, like don't forget to make sure that you do those updates. Who are
Yeah,
the people covered? Your children? Did you take in someone? All right, did you take in, a family member? Are they covered? So make sure that you know what people are covered. Number 5, locations covered. Are there any locations or properties that are excluded? So make
mhm,
sure that you know the physical location, the contents, the thing, whatever, that physical location is
That's right.
actually covered under the policy. 6, time period of the coverage. When does the coverage begin and end? And that's for any of the policies, whether it's your auto and it's annual or every 6 months, especially for your medical. You might have had medical coverage from here to here. It ended, maybe loss of work or whatever. Then you got a illness. Now you picking it up, and now is that considered a pre-existing illness? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
like you got to make sure that you understand the dynamics of the policy, and you only know that by reading it. Number 7, loss control requirements. Now, this is big. Loss control requirements are, for example, did you notify your insurance company about getting a cane corso? Did you tell them that you got a Rottweiler? Did you tell them you got a pit bull? Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff, depending on the policy, if you don't let them know that you have a dog that can bite somebody, that's another type of liability. And actually, it's a huge liability for most
Sure is.
homeowner insurance coverages. But if you didn't let them know that you have a dog, there could be a loss control requirement, which means it frees the insurance company from having to pay out. How about this? Are you an adventurous person? Do you like extreme sports on vacations like skydiving and scuba diving and bungee jumping, and those could potentially trigger exclusions or higher premiums? I tell my husband all the time, we go on vacation. I'm be like, no, bro, you're not doing that. Mm-mm. No, sir. Because we not. Mm-mm. So, loss control requirements. Is it possible that you could do something that, because you didn't notify your insurance agent, and a lot of times, sometimes these things can make the premium go higher, and that's why we don't tell our insurance company about it. But if something happens, they have the right now to possibly um exclude the pay. They won't pay out as a result
Won't
of
be
it.
covered.
Won't be covered. And
Hmm.
then lastly, number 8, the amount of coverage. Every policy will specify the maximum amount the user will pay for different types of losses and make sure it's enough to truly protect your assets. We
Yeah.
gave an example in the homeowners between actual cash value and replacement value. You need to know what is actually going to be covered, um, how much money you're going to get in order to pay.
Hmm.
Is it 75%, 65, 100%, up to a max of, so you know. So those are the 8 things that I wanted. If you don't read the whole deck, and most don't, but
Hmm.
at least if something, peruse it so that you understand what
Hmm.
those 8 areas, and then if something happens, and you can go in deeper and get more understanding, better understanding.
Yeah, that uh, you've said, and you're right. We are not insurance agents. We are
Mm.
not insurance experts, but we have lived insurance events in our lives. And
Yes.
as you were speaking, I thought about another one that just want to put out there. Sometimes you don't even know things are going on, but once your insurance company comes out, a lot of times now they'll come out, they'll take pictures, they want, make sure everything is covered,
Mhm.
that you say is there, what their actual risk is. When they do that, they keep that information. Don't set it up so when they are out there, when you starting the policy, everything is good, and then you just let it lapse, let things get destroyed, or
Mhm.
let things,
Mhm.
because if you don't maintain the property in a certain way, they will not cover it, no
Mhm.
matter what's in your policy.
Mhm.
And another thing that my husband and I had rental properties at one point, we did not know that a handrail had fallen off. Tenant did not tell us. Yes, we did inspections. We did them regularly. They sometimes it's aggravating to tenants when you want to come every month, but we did them. Well, the insurance company made a random visit. They saw that the rail was off. They canceled our policy, refunded the balance of the
Wow.
money, and said that they had in we had increased their risk because the railing was there. It was not there. I said, well, I just to put the railing there.
Wow.
Nope. Nope. We canceled the policy. It's amazing. It's critical and important to talk to your agent, to talk to the professional about
Hmm.
the insurance, and then make sure you read and know exactly what's covered.
Right.
Taking the time to go over these details ensures that you're not left in the dark when something unexpected happens.
Yeah.
It's all about preparing with wisdom
Hmm.
and not waiting for a crisis to force you to learn the hard way.
Yes. And I will let me apologize to my dear husband because I used him as an example when I said, you know what, there are things that we're not, but he wasn't the one who flipped the ATV on vacation. I was.
Boy, yeah, I do remember that. Mm.
Right. Right. Out the country in St. Kitts. I flipped the ATV. I'm okay. I'm here to tell the story. But
Mhm.
the point of the matter is I walked away with a broken toe, all the things. And so again, your what is covered. I did not seek medical help while I was out of the country. But do you understand, even in that instance, when reading your policy to understand what happens? Are you covered if something happens to
Yeah,
you out of town? I mean, while you out of state, out the
yeah.
country? Those are all of that is very very important. So I just wanted to put. I'm sorry, Keith. I just wanted to make sure that because he wasn't the one that got the accident. I was.
Hmm. He could have got on that bungee jump.
No, we cannot. Anyway, insurance isn't. It's not like we said. It's not about fear. It's about making wise, proactive decisions that give you the peace of mind to walk confidently in your calling. Just like Proverbs 15:22, we tell you this all the time. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with
Yeah.
many advisors, they succeed. And with the advising of your insurance agents, you know that your plan for protection is in place.
And as we always do, we always seal our conversations with wisdom from the word of God. That Proverbs verse you just quoted. And another one, remember people, the virtuous woman. She is clothed with strength and dignity.
Yes,
She can
she
laugh at
is.
the days to come. Now that's Proverbs 31 and 25. Just remember her. As a woman blessed with resources and influence, your insurance strategy represents an extension of your God-given wisdom. It's not about fear again, but it's about foresight.
Mm,
Not about worry, but about wise preparation. The right coverage allows you to move forward boldly in your calling, knowing you are faithfully protected what God has provided. You can engage in ministry, philanthropy, and relationships with confidence, free from concerns about what unexpected circumstances might bring. You are being proactive, be protected so you can be at peace.
mm. Yeah, I love that because you're right. The decisions aren't driven by anxiety, they're powered by discernment. I love it. And they represent your commitment to saying that you will faithfully protect what you have been entrusted. Because you were created not merely to succeed, but to thrive abundantly and to build a legacy that extends far beyond yourself. And proper insurance protection ensures that nothing interrupts the beautiful story God is writing through your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if today's episode stirs something in you, if you're realizing that you've been navigating your money goals without a clear direction, know this: you don't have to stay stuck in confusion. The next step is what will truly bring it all together for you.
Ooh, that's right, Willa. If you're feeling a little uncertain about your financial strategy, I want you to know you don't have to do this alone.
Yeah.
Taking the first step is all about clarity and confidence, and that's where your first step to financial fulfillment comes in.
So I invite you to take the first step with us. It's time to move from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered. Let us walk with you through this journey, step by step, so you can start building the financial future that aligns with God's purpose for your life.
As always, our end goal for you is to activate the power of your steward identity and discover your unique path to financial fulfillment, trusting God, trusting yourself, and trusting the process. So don't forget to subscribe. We would love for you to leave a review and share this episode with your friends and family. Screenshot it, put it on your social media. We would love to hear your takeaways, your feedback. Bye for now, and continue to tap into wealth and wisdom together.